Hey there guys, how are you today and welcome to another episode of I Ask Twitter. Yes, this is the series where I ask a question on Twitter to my Twitter followers about Formula 1 and based on the answers I get, I make a video. I hope you've enjoyed other episodes of the series, go check them out if you haven't. And now let's get on with today's video. So, on Twitter, a few days ago, I asked my followers for 3 things they want to see happen at the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix. Of course, the Chinese Grand Prix taking place this weekend. I'm super excited. It's the 1000th official Formula 1 Grand Prix. Fun fact there, which you already know, obviously. But never mind. And I'm hoping it's going to be a cracker. But now, let's have a look at the answers. So, Cyprian Radu, and by the way, before I start, just make sure you go check out all these people on Twitter and YouTube and stuff. But Cyprian Radu says he wants both McLarens in the top 10, side-by-side stuff on that long straight, and at least a 2-stop strategy for the top 6, 8, 10. So in terms of McLaren, I would say that is really possible, because I think they have showed some really good pace, especially in short distances so far this season. And of course we saw Carlos Sainz was challenging Max Verstappen in Bahrain, but of course we know what happens when you challenge Max Verstappen. You get punted out of the race, which is what happened to Carlos Sainz pretty much in Bahrain. And generally Sainz has been really unlucky this season, because of course he had a retirement in Australia, mechanical, and then was crashed into in Bahrain by Max Verstappen. So I also hope McLaren will get into the top 10. Side-by-side stuff on that long straight, yeah, for sure. I think there have been some great moments there over the years, and generally I think China is normally quite a good race. It's normally quite exciting, and now the cars can feel better. We've seen some really good racing, particularly in Bahrain. Let's hope for more of the same in China, and at least a 2-stop strategy for the top 6/8/10. Yeah, I would agree with that one. That always makes a more exciting race. Whether maybe have 1 stop against a 2-stop, with a 2-stopper really catching up towards the end, or maybe a 2-stop and a 3-stop. And also, talking of tyre strategy, have people got their head around the new compounds yet for Formula 1? I'm not so sure I have. It's a bit difficult at the moment. I'm trying to get used to it still. It's just confusing how the yellow tyre is not always the soft tyre anymore, for example. That's always confusing. That's going off the point. But yeah, for sure, I agree with all those things. And then, Zebri of Zebranes, I believe, subscribed to me recently on YouTube as well, says that they want Leclerc in P1, Hamilton in P2, and Lando Norris in P3. Well, Leclerc and Hamilton in that order nearly happened in Bahrain, but wasn't quite to be. I mean, Norris in P3 would be amazing. As a British fan, I would say that. But whether that's going to happen, I'm not so sure. It would be cool. But I think a lot of people want to see Charles Leclerc win the Chinese Grand Prix after what happened to him in Bahrain. Of course, if you didn't watch it, where have you been? Literally, where have you been? Because we know, of course, Leclerc had a cylinder failure with about 10 laps to go when he was dominating the race, allowing Hamilton to come through. A similar failure maybe to what Vettel had in the Red Bull in 2010. Quick thought there. So, I think we all want to see Leclerc win the Chinese Grand Prix. I almost do as well. You know, I'm a Hamilton fan. Of course, Hamilton is normally pretty good at China. He tends to win the Chinese Grand Prix. So I have to see what happens there. And you never know, McLaren might surprise us this weekend. Next up, we've got Nicole, who wants Kimi in the top 5, Renault to finish the race, and McLaren taking an unexpected 1-2. Well, Renault finishing the race seems to be quite an ambitious target at the moment, considering what's been going on with their reliability recently. But you never know, I'd like to see Daniel Ricciardo finally score some points. He has maybe been struggling a little bit in the Renault so far, but you never know. And then Kimi Raikkonen to finish in the top 5. I would say, again, that's going to be a challenge, because I think the top 6 cars are very strong this season. But then again, look, Kimi Raikkonen's a pretty special driver, and all it would take is a crash out front, and Kimi could easily get into the top 5, or maybe even grab a podium. The McLaren taking an unexpected 1-2, well, I tell you, I would love that, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up. And then next up, we've got Robbie, who says that he wants the top teams to fight against each other for the win. Most likely either Leclerc or Vettel battling Hamilton and Verstappen, but we'll see. Raikkonen to get a P6, that's P7 finish for Alfa Romeo, continuing his great run of points, and Norris and Sainz to both score points for McLaren. Well, I'll be honest with you, that's pretty much what I want. I want to see a great fight for victory. I think we didn't really see a fight for first place so much for most of the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was mostly at first, second and third between Hamilton and Vettel, but okay, the clerk's failure really hurt him. But then again, he did have to overtake a few cars to get into P1 in the first place. So we did kind of see a battle for the lead, but I'm hoping for more of the same in China. Be interesting how Verstappen does, whether the Red Bull Honda has got the pace to really keep up with the Mercedes and the Ferrari over the whole race. And Raikkonen finishing P6 and 7 would be pretty good. I think in a normal race he would be able to finish in the top 7, I would say. Maybe 6 is going to be difficult. Then again, Gasly has been pretty poor, so there's every chance that maybe Raikkonen could get into the P6. And Norris and Sainz to score points from McLaren. I would love to see that too. Next up, we've got Laurie, who says that he wants Charles Leclerc to win, so I agree with that. Hulkenberg to finish second. Well, I think that's quite ambitious, because Hulkenberg's never had a Formula 1 podium. And also, Renault seem to be struggling at the moment this season. And Vettel to be third, because I want to see Ferrari score quite a solid amount of points to catch up to Mercedes. I want to see the title taken to the final race. So if Vettel's going to be third, what's really going to happen to Mercedes in this race? I find it hard to believe that neither Mercedes car will be on the podium this weekend, considering Hamilton's strong form around China. And remember, Bottas was pretty good here last season too. But it'll be interesting. But again, the one thing I don't think will happen is Hulkenberg finishing in second. And then finally, we're going to go to Rick Perry, who says that the clerk to outperform Vettel in every session, and Vettel to make another mistake in the race. Well, as a Hamilton fan, I would love to see Vettel beaten by Charles Leclerc. And to be honest, my opinion of Vettel is falling and falling and falling while he's been at Ferrari. It's just a shame, really, because he's a 4-time world champion. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to work out for him. So tell me, guys, any more predictions or wishes for the Chinese Grand Prix? Tell me down in the comments below. And are you excited for the 1000th ever Formula 1 Grand Prix? And I'll see you guys next time for another episode of I Asked Twitter.